Gladiators take on the undefeated Sheffield Hatters. Both teams returned from the international break with spirits high. The last time these two sides met was in the Betty Cardona Trophy, where the Hatters came out on top, winning by 12. My name is Grant Young, and back beside me is Rona Lightbody. Rona, we've got a match-up of two of the top teams in the women's game.
We do, and we're only two games deep for both these teams in the championship action, but over the seasons consistently, you know, these two teams have provided some entertaining matchups, so very much looking forward to it this afternoon.
So before the game, Rona caught up with both sides to get
So welcome back to the amphitheatre. Last time, really strong start for Sheffield. How are you going to look to replicate that again in today's game?
Yeah, it's just being ready for them. We've done our scout, obviously, and just being prepared. I thought we did have a great start, which really was the key to winning the game. So, you know, we're ready to go. I think they'll be more ready than last time. So, looking forward to a really good game.
And obviously just seen Georgia go on court, seen Nina warming up as well. Obviously they both had a great international break. How does that help, you know, coming back in? You must be a proud coach as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously if they do well, it comes back with confidence, but it can have the opposite effect. But, you know, both had great windows, so bringing that confidence back into the team.
And with that international break, so what have you been sort of working on with the rest of the team, obviously, to keep them focused and keep them sharp without the actual gameplay?
So we had a few days of individual work, making sure players are just working on their own game, and then gave them a few days off to recharge the batteries, and then being back this week ready to go.
And they do sometimes say rest is important as the training, but anyway, good luck with previous meeting against Sheffield. Obviously didn't go the Gladiators' way. How have you used that as motivation for today's game?
Yeah, I think we came out to Sheffield and we didn't play our best, so we really want to come out, show everyone what we're made of, and make a statement with this game.
And obviously it's just been the international break. I was just chatting to Coach Ellis about that. Have you found, is that a help, a hindrance with the team? Obviously Hannah Robb was away for part of it, but how have you found it as a coaching staff?
Yeah, it was probably a nice timing. I think the season gets into a grind and you have such limited time to work as a team, so it was nice for us to have mostly everyone, but everyone get in and get some stuff, work together as a group before prepping for this game.
And obviously we know what Sheffield bring to the floor, you know, that high intensity. They're 2-0 currently in the lead, so what's been Gladiators' focus for today's game?
Yeah, I think really just like getting back to what makes us us, like defensively, let's play with some physicality and let's use this game to like impart our mark on the league, show them what we're made of.
So back on court, the players just going through their final warm-ups, but a couple of players to watch out for, Rona. Firstly, Megan Mullings of the Sheffield Hatters, really taking the league by storm, leading them in obviously points per game as well.
She has, you know, 19.5 points, which only sees her 9th in the league at the moment. But again, it's such a small snapshot of games to be pulling stats from, isn't it? But second in the league, you know, she's averaging a double-double, 19.5 points, 12.5 rebounds. She's someone who's come into this league and is certainly making her mark on it.
When we look at the other side for the home side, Terry Hodges moving up further north from Newcastle. She was one of the most dominant players there last season, come up to Caledonia and really just continuing where she's been.
She is, and you know, if we're talking about Megan's stats, she's 24.5 points, leading the league at the moment in scoring, 8th in rebounds, 7.5. But Tara Hodges putting up a double-double, something we were very, you know, used to seeing when she was down at Newcastle Eagles, and we've also seen it up here in the Gladiators arena as well. So I think two players today, it'll be interesting to see who gets rolling and who can put the team on their back potentially at times and keep the scoreboard ticking over.
And it's always that feel, we've probably said this the last couple of seasons, but international breaks, a short kind of first part of the season, both teams really still trying to get into the season, and we're almost towards the end of November.
We are indeed, and I think from here it just picks up pace and it doesn't really slow down at all, whereas I think, you know, as a general population we sort of build towards Christmas and having a time off, whereas for these athletes this is actually the start of it really ramping up for them, and they probably won't come up for a year now until what, about March, April time, so this is when the business is really getting going for them.
So we're a minute away from the start of the game coming on. Starting fives are in, but firstly our referees this evening are crew chief Ian McDonald, and he's supported by umpires Matthew McNeil and Chris Dodds. Starting five for the visitors Hatters, Georgia Gale, Shauna Harrisons, Megan Mullings, Emma Gandini and Antoinette Lewis. For the home side, it's Bryn Masowicz, Robin Lewis, Mona Fitzpatrick, Warren and Tierra Hodges. Any surprises in those lineups?
I wouldn't say so. I think we've seen some great work from Robin Lewis, somebody who comes in and comes out, but you just know wherever you have her in your rotation, she's going to give you that intensity in defence. She's going to give you the IQ on court, and she's just going to give that lift that any team would enjoy having.
I'm really curious to see how Mathilde Monge plays coming off that bench, probably that sixth man type kind of output from her, because she's someone that we always see brings the energy, looks to create first. So really curious by this kind of, maybe, I know in the last game she came off the bench as well, but curious by that role as well.
I think I always talk about everyone being really keen to start a game, but I know as a player I was always keen to be one of the ones that is closing out a game, because that's when you know coach trusts you, and that's when you know that you're a key part of that team. So I think whatever 5 either team puts on the floor are going to go out there, and they've earned their right to be on the starting roster, and they've earned their right to go out there and play their minutes.
So both teams coming out onto the floor, doing their final preparations and talks. The visiting Hatters in there. I really like this pink shirt they've got this season, very smart. And the Gladiators in their home blue, as both teams will look to get this game started. And when we're talking about a break for the players, it's been a few weeks for us to do a game together, so we're really looking forward to this one. A healthy crowd in here in Play Sport. It's great to see for the women's game, both sides of the arena open. And hopefully we will be in for a good quality game of basketball. And it is Emma Gandini winning the tip, and the Hatters will get the first possession of the game into Lewis. In against Masovic, and she converts. Nice early goal for the Hatters.
Lewis last time, led the Hatters in scoring with 17 points against the Gladiators. Looks like she's coming back to try and do the same again today.
Antoinette Lewis didn't play last season, but season before last was played with the Eagles. As Warren gets all the way to the basket off the short pass from Masovic, ties it up to a piece. A player just back in the international fold, Georgia Gale, hands on the ball. Harrison round some screens, still looks to get her open. Good defense by the Gladiators. And it's Lewis again inside for another 2. And that, I think we saw that last time these two teams played. Sheffield really focused early on going inside. Will that continue? Will we see a quick 3-up? We know players like Gandini, Gale like to put up the 3 ball. Turnover from the Gladiators as Warren and Fitzpatrick don't connect on the pass. It'll be a Hatter sideline ball.
Smart play there by Gandini as well, knowing that she'd sort of missed the tip on the steal just to let it go out and not try and salvage it.
Gandini gets the ball from Gale round the screen from Antoinette Lewis. Gale, quick look up at the clock, ticking down. Double team comes. What a backcourt cut from Mullings. And she gets it off the baseline drive. Hatters moving the ball really well early on. Fitzpatrick catch, shoot. Doesn't get that one to go, and Gandini gathers the rebound. Hatters looking to push the tempo. Mullings steps back. Thinks about the 3. Decides to go for it. Knocks it down quick. 9-2 lead for the visitors. And Mullings, you cannot leave her wide open.
See Coach Handy there on the sideline just asking for the players, bring the ball up the court a little bit quicker.
Masovic from the 3-throw line doesn't get it to go. A battle for the rebound, and it's Mullings. She's kind of quadruple teamed. Who will McDonald call this one on? It's on number 3, Bryn Masovic. Emma Gandini having to retrieve the ball from the second row. And as we just said, Hatters out to a quick start, moving the ball around really nicely. They're looking to establish inside. They find Lewis. Harrison to the basket, drives into traffic, but finds Mullings, who's cut into the basket. And Mullings knocks down the 2. And Chantel Handy with a quick timeout. And Rona, a real positive start for the visitors.
It is indeed, and I think they have started this game the way they had finished their game last time here at the amphitheatre. You know, they are getting the ball, they're looking to get out in transition. They know going inside, they're getting some positive looks with that, and they're knocking them down. I think Mullins, you know, knocked down that 3 ball out of rhythm. You could see, thought about it, and then usually that's the sort of shot you don't want someone taking, but gets it, strings it through the net, so what does it matter when it goes in?
And we look at the home side, the Gladiators with that quick timeout. We've only played less than 3 minutes. Coach Randy, is it a defensive thing? Is it an offensive thing? It seems like both things a bit disconnected so far.
I think they're just going to maybe come out this time out, and I think we'll expect to see them play with a little bit more urgency. Hatters are managing to get nice looks. There's some mismatches you can see that are coming with the switches and maybe the way they're coming out on those hard hedges. So how they can maybe just work with that a little bit better. It's not panic stations at the moment for them, just like Coach Ellis will know the game is not currently won. You know, you can see her down there showing her self-active defence down there and what she's trying to put across to her players. So Hatters will see this as a quick moment to pause, but then can continue with their momentum. Gladiators will be looking to build their momentum coming out of this timeout.
Both teams come back on the floor, as we just said. An 11-2 start for the visitors. The Gladiators looking to get their offense and need to get some stops to get back into this game. It is early doors though. Warren finds Masovic. Handoff comes as Warren looks to drive baseline, looks for help. Fitzpatrick under the basket, doesn't convert. Warren gathers the offensive board. Round the screen of Masovic, looks for help but pulls up from the mid-range. Masovic doesn't gather that rebound.
2 nice looks there though for the Gladiators. Unfortunate not to see them go through.
Warren driving inside against, Gale driving inside against Warren, and Georgia Gale turns it over. As Mathilde Monge checks in for Robin Lewis. Vanessa Ellis looking for a push off. Gandini sells it well. Hodges sets the screen for Warren. They try and find her inside, and so far Sheffield did this last time. They suffocated how much ball Tierra Hodges got. It's going to be up to the Gladiators to help. Chris Dodds speaking to the table. I think we had a shot clock reset.
It was the game clock had continued to run, so it had gone down to 6:21. They've reset it back up to 6:28.
Good spot, Lona. Warren with space. Good help defence from Mullings. Masovic gets the ball inside from Fitzpatrick. Doesn't get a goal, hitting the arm. And she'll go to the line for 2, and Lewis will be called for the foul.
And Lewis had seen that she'd given up that position to Masovic behind her and did actually really well with their hands and length there, and then just unfortunate to give it a little bit too much.
Our first 3 throws of the game. Masovic overcooks it.
Until that point had been 100% from the line in championship action, but it's now not my fault because I said it after.
And she knocks down the second, keeps the scoreboard moving. Harrison with a size mismatch. Masovic picks up her second foul. And she'll check out. Good establishing the kind of front court position from Antoinette Lewis. And Ogaduga and Hannah Robb check in as Maura Fitzpatrick and Masovic checks out. Always a entertaining matchup between Georgia Gale and Hannah Robb. International teammates during the last window, but bitter rivals on the court. Ogaduga getting backed in by Antoinette Lewis, and that's an easy score for her. And it's a turnover from the Gladiators. They can't get the ball in play. Lewis pulls up for 3, knocks it down. Handy looks to the sidelines. Does she call her second timeout? Chooses not to. Not the possession the Gladiators wanted there. Demongji all the way to the basket, and she gets the scoreboard ticking. Great drive from her, making her impact felt. And a quick whistle from referee McDonald. And Nina Crisper will check into the game. The depth, the talent on display in this game is quality, but Sheffield go really deep into their bench. Really good recruitment from them this summer. Bringing back players like Gandini. Around the screen, Mullings goes up. Mullings at the free throw line. 5:14 left on the first quarter clock, and pushes the Hatters ever further in front. Vanessa Ellis deep in conversation with Chris Dodds. The experience of those two alone, lots and lots of matches between them. Gladiators trying to push the tempo though. Chase down block, Mullings just putting her off, I think, on Fitzpatrick, missing that layup. Handy will be happy with that intensity, but Harrison gathers the ball in the corner. Pass out, Mullings cutting to the basket, straight up play from Demongji, and it forces the turnover from the Hatters. Marina Fernandez checks in. Played last season for Durham, previously with Newcastle as well. A brilliant player for Hatters to be bringing off the bench though.
You see the referees today are not keen on that contact with the bigs. So whether it's chasing through hard over the top of screens or, you know, bumping as they come off them, you can see they've called it both ends so far.
Demongji opens up in front of her and she knocks down the pull-up shot. Scoreboard ticking finally for the Gladiators, but look at Mullings running the court. What a catch, doesn't convert though. NFL style there, but doesn't get the touchdown. Fitzpatrick tries to cross over Georgia Gale, spin moves, and that's something that's a bit messy for the Gladiators. Probably should have looked to play the ball out. Crisper picks the ball up. She's looking for help. 5 seconds to call from referee Dodds, and it's the Gladiators' ball. Nina Crisper picked up the ball and didn't have anywhere to put it.
And just really nice work there by the Gladiators. Obviously, we could see Okadowa was the one pressurising Crisper with the ball, but the work by her 4 teammates behind her, cutting off those passes, making sure they're getting there and getting into position on the cuts as well. So nice defensive work by the Gladiators.
Gladiators yet to get really fluid, but Robin Lewis cuts to the basket. Great defense from Georgia Gale using her height and length. Robin Lewis had the step on her, but Georgia Gale showing her experience in chasing down and blocking the shot out of bounds. 10 seconds on the shot clock, and they get it into Demongji. Warren pulls up for 3, and it goes. Big shot for the Gladiators. They finally hit double figures. 3:40 on the first quarter clock. Gale gets it back to Lewis. They get the mismatch. Great help defense from Demongji, but Antoinette Lewis just taller than absolutely everyone, but doesn't get that shot to go, and it's the Gladiators off and running. Robin Lewis trying to get something going. A really small lineup for the Gladiators, and Nina Crisper steals it at half court, but it's knocked loose by Maura Fitzpatrick chasing it back. A messy possession there on offense from the Gladiators, but Fitzpatrick makes up for it with her defensive intensity.
Really nice work by Crisper, firstly, making sure she gets the touch on it, breaks out onto open court, but nice chase down there by Fitzpatrick, not giving up on the play, and again getting a valuable touch to not Gary and open a basket for them.
Hatters again getting the mismatch and the switch inside. And one as Nina Crisper gets the ball. And she'll go to the free throw line to get the and one. DeMongi with her first foul. Grace Graham checks in for Emma Gandini. And basket does not count. Crisper steps over the free throw line. Emphatically shown by Ian McDonald. Ella Doherty checks in for the first time. Bryn Masovic on the floor on 2 fouls. If you are the Hatters, do you try and identify that early?
I think what Hatters is doing is working for them, so they'll continue to run their sets, plays. If that means going in on Lewis, she's been marked by Masovic, that's what they'll do.
Masovic putting the ball on the floor, almost not looked. Lewis is so active on those with the hands on the defense. The clock's ticking down. DeMongi looking for space, steps back, high arcing shot, doesn't get it to go, and it's tipped back. And it was knocked back from Maura Fitzpatrick, but no one's there to gather the ball. And it will be a Hatters sideline ball just in their own half. Crisper into the zone. The Gladiators playing zone defense now. Back in. Graham in the corner. Clock ticking down. Hatters trying to find some space. Gale notices the clock. What a three! I think the Gladiators will be quite happy with that defensive effort. But Georgia Gale has other ideas. We're into the final 2 minutes of this opening quarter. Lewis in the corner for 3. And she gets that to go. And a travel called. Vanessa Ellis having a go at the table. And a timeout called. I think she's arguing that she called that before the turnover came. But it's the Gladiators who, off the back of that three-pointer, might be heading into this timeout. Yes, they're trailing by 10. But Rona, it feels like the defense and the offense have picked up a gear. But Hatters just doing what they're doing really well.
That's an excellent summation there. And I think since the previous timeout that was called by the Gladiators, I think, you know, we've seen them not giving up on plays. We've seen them putting in that extra hustle, whether it's getting back and getting tips on the defensive end. They dropped into that zone. Doherty working well, you know, sort of at that point position. Hatters, experienced team, they're known, they're trying to get the ball in at that free throw line, trying to exploit that space in there. I mean, Gail, we know she can shoot from range, and that's what she did, but if you're giving up that sort of distance on shot, you're going to just live with it. And it did go in at that point, but usually we make as high a percentage shot as that.
Both teams. Well, Gladiators, sorry, in the foul trouble there on 5 team fouls. Hatters only committing to 2. Leading scorers is Lewis and Mullings on both on 9. Georgia Gale with that 3 is their third scorer. Warren leads the Gladiators on 5. Both teams turning the ball over 3 and 4 times respectively. But Hatters doing a slightly better job at sharing the ball. 5 assists to 2. Gladiators baseline ball off the travel call. Can they get it in bounds? They do just. Masovic hands off to Ella Doherty. She drives left. Looks for help. Hodges back on the floor. They're going to have to look to get a shot. If she gets to the basket, doesn't get it to go, but normally so good at gathering her own rebound. And it's Stubbs who's just checked in, trying to push the ball down the other end. Fernandez guarded by Doherty. Handoff, Stubbs. Fernandez open for three, and that's nothing but net. Great finish from Marina Fernandez. High scoring quarter for the visiting Hatters as they hit 26 points. Easy pass picked off by the Hatters. And there's a battle for the ball at half court. It somehow ends up with the Gladiators on the floor. Graham looking for a foul call. And with the arrow, it belongs to the Gladiators. 45 seconds remaining of the first quarter. Round the screen, Demonge gets the switch. Fitzpatrick in the corner, cuts towards the basket. Good play from Nina Crisper, establishing herself underneath the basket, forces Fitzpatrick to turn it over. And Hatters just seem to be a step ahead of the Gladiators with every play so far. Can they get the ball in bounds? Crisper, can she gather it? Tries to keep it in bounds, steps out of play. And a bit of a messy final kind of 2 minutes of this quarter.
I think, yeah, Hatters came out with that strong start that we saw in the previous game. They really asserted themselves. Nice quick timeout by head coach Chantel Handy. Gladiators finding ways to get them back in. They got a couple of possessions in a row, got the scoreboard flowing. Both teams as well been rotating their teams a lot. Lots of players coming off the bench, everybody contributing. But Hatters just finding ways to maintain the lead and to keep getting those buckets.
Fitzpatrick knocks down the three. Brings the Gladiators ever closer. Drive by Stubbs, doesn't go, battle for the rebound. And that takes it to our end of the first quarter. As the visitors out to a hot start, they lead 26-16. With the Gladiators off that Maura Fitzpatrick three, getting a little bit of an offensive rhythm. But if you're the Hatters, you're absolutely delighted with that start.
You are, and like Coach Ella said, you know, in the opening, she said, you know, they've done their scout, they know what it is they're looking to do. They've come here, you know, they're off the bus nice and early and getting warmed up. Kids camp on beforehand, players ready to go on court. Gladiators the same, they train on this court day in, day out. I think they'll be looking to push on from their opening 10 minutes. I think the Hatters will look to continue to build on what they've already done. They lead at one point as much as 13 at a couple of different points in the opening quarter. So finishing on 10 at the end of the first, Gladiators will be needing to look to chip away at that. Like I said, very long game, a game of basketball. Nobody needs to hit panic stations, just like Coach Ellis will know the battle's not currently won.
Both teams shoot the ball pretty well from three. The Hatters yet to miss 4 from 4. The Gladiators shooting 3 from 5. But it's the battle of the rebounds so far. The Hatters with 8 rebounds to the Gladiators 5. A wee bit of foul trouble if you're looking at the board. 2 fouls, 2 quick fouls for Hannah Robb and 2 on Bryn Masovic could be telling as the game ticks on. Gladiators coming back on the floor with who we got. Looks like Robb, Demonge, Fitzpatrick, Warren and Hodges.
And interestingly, off your point about both teams shooting the 3 ball really well, whereas last time these two teams met, it was 20% for Gladiators, 25% for Sheffield.
I feel like I remember neither team scoring a 3 in the first half.
It took some time, and you know, Sheffield actually at the moment only really do average about 21%. Gladiators will point that 30s. So be interested to see how the rest of the game plays out.
Mullings, Crisper, Fernandez, Stubbs and Graham on the floor for the visitors. And it ball belongs to start this quarter with our visiting team in pink. And can they get the ball in play? They're having to look for second, third options, but they finally get it in the hands of Stubbs. Graham looking for help. She finds Stubbs under the basket. She checks back out. Fernandez, late clock as it established. She drives inside. What a finish. Tough make, but the calmness and the composure to convert that, impressive.
And although we've seen her come off the bench today, she's been, you know, a key player in whatever team she has played in this league up to this point. So she knows how to get buckets out there.
Fitzpatrick overcooks that 3-ball attempt. But look at the way the Hatters push the tempo. Crisper unable to gather that ball. It's not often this early into the game or this soon into the game that Tierra Hodges remains scoreless. Hatters doing a very good job of keeping the ball out of her hands. Crisper, tremendous defender. They've got the switch on her with Harrison inside. And now look at that. No, it hangs on the rim. I thought I was going to talk that into existence. Stubbs looking to create space. Late clock again. Doesn't get it to go. Gladiators gather the rebound.
Nice work there by Stubbs, just stunting Warren, making sure she couldn't, you know, get out onto that open floor and run.
Fitzpatrick once again turning that ball over at half court.
And you just feel with the pressure Sheffield are putting on that sort of pass at the top there, Gladiators just need to do a much better job earlier, you know, pushing their player away. Pushing is probably the wrong word, but stealing their player, holding them off.
Oh. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Fernandez tries to pass the ball in and throws it behind her. And it's a Gladiators ball. 8:20 on the first half clock remaining. Demonge looking for some space. Spins round, doesn't get a go. It's Hodges battling for the rebound. And I think that'll be a foul called for.
Going on against Harrison, I think, just on the body position there in the ball.
On Harrison for, almost just getting underneath her, not giving the space. That's a change for the Gladiators. That's 2 plays in a row, though. They've tried to establish Tierra Hodges. Coach Handy showing her frustration towards her team, looking for a bit more effort, to help create the space. And the ball's with Hannah Robb. They get it into Hodges. Backs down Crisper, goes to her left, gets it to go. And she knocks her headband out the way, doesn't want it. They get into Mullings, but good help defense from Ogaduga. Mullings backs her down. Doesn't get it to go. Over the back from Fernandez with the rebound. Gladiators need to do a better job boxing out. But Ogaduga doing a good job to force Mullings to not attempt the shot first, second or third time. Late clock. She gets it up, doesn't touch anything, and that's a 24-second shot clock violation for the Hatters. And Harrison says something in the direction of referee McDonald. Vanessa Hill has been told by Chris Dodds that Shauna Harrison's on a warning for what she said to Coach McDonald. Harrison thought she was checking out the game. She remains on the court. It's a 10-point lead for the Hatters. Cross-court pass. Tierra Hodges for 3. Overcooks it. Who's battling for the rebound? It's Demonge gathers the ball. Risky pass, but it's back in the hands of Demonge. Screen comes, round it she goes. Finds Ogaduga. Does she go up strong? Needs to go up strong. Foul called on the floor from referee McDonald.
I think you could see by the way Okadoa went up there that the foul had occurred before she went up, and that's ball was out the hands. And that obviously pushing Crisper onto her second quarter.
Ball gets into Hodges. She picks up, takes up the dribble, loses it. Mullings forcing the turnover, ends up with Georgia Gale. This is a dangerous 5 on the floor for the Hatters. Georgia Gale also picks up, well, nobody wants it. No one's looking at the play. It's Demonge off and running. She pulls up for 3, knocks it down.
Big time confidence play there from Demonge, and she has been a killer in defence.
Demonge made one. Georgia Gale to reply, overcooks it. Who's battling for the rebounds? And it's Warren dragging Mullings to the floor. What will be the call?
Yeah, I'll go up against Warren there coming in. Mullins just sneaking in there on that O board, and she is someone who is a demon on those O boards. You know, first in the league, averages 4.5 a game. And if you're converting points off them each time as well, that's something teams need to be looking to take care of.
Referees come together to agree how much time left on the shot clock. 18 seconds. Referees come together and discuss that. Don't think you can get 2 more experienced referees in Dodds and McDonald. And the Hatters lead by 7. Crisper bobbles round, gets it to drop. Demonge with a bit of space. Look to drive inside, high off the backboard, doesn't get to go. A battle for the rebound. Jump ball called, and that'll stay with the Gladiators.
Demonge, I think the lane just opened a little bit more than she was expecting now. That's why she's pushed the ball so high up over a defender that didn't actually appear in that situation. But nice work by both teams at both ends of the floor, not giving up any easy offensive or defensive
Defense is
boards.
certainly on top to start this second quarter. Gladiators find Warren, she steps back for 3. Bobbles round. Dundini hits the floor. Demonge opens up inside for her. Good play by Mullings. She ties the ball up, and the arrow points in the favour of the Hatters. Definitely the intensity creeping up from both teams. Under 6 minutes remaining of the half. Only 9 points scored in this quarter so far. Gale round the screen. Mullings cutting to the basket. The help comes from Hannah Robb. Forces the shot to miss. And Mullings knocks out of bounds.
You can see across both sides frustrated players out there, maybe things not quite going their way. You know, whether it's not getting the call they were expecting to get, or the ball just not quite going through the hoop.
Chantel Handy now warned. And Lewis with open court in front of her. Look at the speed that she disappears from Shauna Harrison, but leaves that one short. And look at this, quarterback play from Georgia Gale. Mullings open for the mid-ranger. And look at that's the height advantage that Hatters have. Lewis with the rebound, spins, backs down, Warren. And that's her bread and butter shot there.
There's only one way that's going to go. When you know you've got an undersized player there, you just need to get them on your back, a couple of dribbles, just like Lewis does.
Fitzpatrick quick releasing the 3, knocks it down. Good pass from Hannah Robb. Mullings spins, looking for help to get the ball out. Lewis fakes the shot, but the space opens up and it's ripped out her hands by Annie Warren. And now she's off and running again. Pass out, Fitzpatrick once again for three. Short on that one, but it's Hannah Robb with the rebound. Fitzpatrick with the space. Gladiators look to use some clock. Screen comes, mismatch, fed into Masovic. Good help defense from Mullings.
Those high loopy balls like that sometimes make me nervous when they go into the post, but went in there, find a nice look. But again, that's come off the back of crashing the offensive boards, keeping the ball with the Gladiators' possession.
Hatters with a timeout. Gladiators at the free throw line. They trail 24-32. A low scoring quarter. However, Rona, it's action packed. The intensity is definitely creeping up.
It is, and Sheffield have been unlucky with some of the looks that they have had that they've not quite dropped. But both teams, I think it's coming off actually those offensive boards. It's the second and the third chances sometimes they're actually getting the ball to drop. Whereas if you're going down, you're getting one shot, not capitalising on it. That's where it's been damaging. But I think all out the back of this timeout, I think we'll see a really good defensive set from the Hatters. I think Coach Handy down there will be drawing something up, trying to look to get some more points on the boards. Currently, well, it's going to be free throws, so it's going to be potential to cut it down to 6 points. The closest Gladiators have been since some of those opening minutes.
And that was a quick timeout. That's now the Hatters used both their first half timeouts. So curious to see what they'll come out with. We talk about second chance points. Remember, it's quite a low scoring quarter now, but Gladiators with 5 second chance points. Hatters with 4. And will Hatters continue to try and take advantage of their size mismatch? They're moving the ball well, trying to identify Lewis inside. But Gladiators, I suppose, sizing up now with Hodges and Fitzpatrick both on the floor beside Masovic as well. She misses the second, and there's a battle for the rebound. And Mullings is deemed to knock it out of bounds. And it'll be another Gladiators opportunity.
And again, just another hustle play, effort play. Not something you'll see on the stat sheet, but just going out there and doing it.
Foul called. On number 7. That's Georgia Gale on her first of the game. It's the switch round of the opening quarter. It's the Hatters now with a little bit of foul trouble. And a push called on Shauna Harrison, her second foul of the game. And the subs called as Harrison will check out for Fernandez, and Hodges will go to the free throw line. Referee's not liking that extra push that teams are playing. Vanessa Ellis going with, okay, if you're calling the bump on that side, let's get it on this side too. Always like when coaches say that, like that. The referee probably knows that's the playbook. Hodges knocks down them both. And slowly but surely this lead's ticked down from, as you said, 13-14. Fernandez round the screen. And she picked up the ball, travel called. Good spot by the referee. 27-32, 3:53 on the clock. Messy end to this first half. Both teams turning the ball over in this quarter. The Gladiators, though, beginning to get some offense going. Fitzpatrick looking for help. She's got Warren from the free throw line. Looks to use the backboard, but it's Masovic gathering it into Hodges. Warren with the ball, crosses over Gandini. Doesn't get that one to go. And that's the usual Annie Warren bread and butter. 2 misses there from the American. Georgia Gale drives in, picks up the ball, could have easily kept going, finds Fernandez in the corner. There's a size mismatch to get to Lewis, but look at that. Georgia Gale cuts to the basket. Masevich on her heels.
Just really nice, smart, a nice leadership cut there from Gale, knowing that Lewis is dragging so much attention, and just settle the Sheffield Hatters, pushes it back out to a 3-possession game.
So say the scoreboard in the arena put the points on the wrong team there. Clock ticking down. Warren gets a bit of space. Teardrop shot. She gets that to draw. Back to a 5-point game. Battle the bigs. Masevich hitting the floor.
And again, hustle plays. Both players there from both sides of the court, making sure they get down and not making that easy.
Referee's happy. 10 seconds on the shot clock. I enjoy when the bigs battle out diving on the floor. Masevich checks out. I think she's got blood on her elbow. Fernandez cuts to the basket. Look, Mullings keeping it alive.
And again, I think there with the shot clock where they want it to be set to. Game's giving us a bit of everything, isn't it?
Gandini out to Lewis in the corner. She overcooks that, and look at them. Fernandez using her height advantage. Oh, it feels like the last 2 minutes of this game sets up the second half. It's Lewis to the basket, doesn't go. Hatters screaming foul. Gladiators on pace. Demongji fakes the shot up and under, and she gets it to go.
Mullins, great job on the chase down, but just really clever, smart play by Domengé, identifying that up and under. Really nice finish.
Volume creeping up here in the amphitheatre. Lewis drives, Mullings open. She loses the dribble. Hodges out in the run. Accelerates to the basket. Gets it to go. Georgia Gale wasn't really committing 100% on defence there.
And we have ourselves a 1-point ball game.
1-point game. The Gladiators coming out in this quarter. 17-8. Mullings with space. Good help defence, but Gandini for three, and it goes.
If you want to silence a home crowd, that's the way to do it.
And Gandini is the girl to do so. Such a smooth shot. Lead back to 4. Less than a minute. Demongé at pace. Lewis catch. Hodges now toes the line. She gathers her own rebound. And it goes. Tierra Hodges.
And that's where you've got to make sure you stick with every play until your team has the ball.
And that's, we said these two teams are going to put on a show. They certainly are. Final few possessions of the half. Gale with Lewis on her back. Space comes to the basket. Georgia Gale does such a good job at creating space there. And she'll go to the free throw line for 2.
And we saw her a couple of plays previous as well, where, you know, the ball went into Lewis in the post. She knew to cut off the back of that where her intention was. You know, GB experience. And you can see that that's why. It's that basketball IQ.
I feel like she's really added to, played a bit of 3x3 at the start of the summer. I feel like she's added to her game watching her play. She misses that first free throw though.
And mentally, you know, they had the chance potentially to push it out to a 2-possession lead there.
She knocks down the second. Lead is 3. Demongé now with the ball. Hodges. Back to Demongé. We've got clock management going on here. Ogaduga, but as the dribble's lost. Smart foul from Warren, slowing down the Hatters there, and it will be a Hatters ball. That's another clumsy turnover from the Gladiators, though, at a big time.
You could just see, like you say, they were trying to use up some of the clock, leave as little time as possible for Sheffield, but then turning it over there.
Blocked by Fitzpatrick, but Gail gathers the ball. She does such a good job at drawing fouls, does Georgia Gale. You saw it with the wee head fake first, but gathers the ball back. Gets hit on the arm, and she'll go to the free throw line. Can they push the game out to a 40-pointer for them? Knocks down the first. Knocks them both down. 5-point lead. Risky play. Hatters gather it. And Gandini almost getting a chance, but there we have it. There we have it. End of the first half. It's the Hatters leading 40-35. An entertaining end-to-end half. The Hatters had the benefit in the first quarter, 26-16. Finishing this half 19-14. The Hatters and the Gladiators putting on a really tight game here, end to end. Lots of highlights, lots of errors both ways. And we're going to join Rona shortly courtside. We're looking at game stats. Antoinette Lewis, 11 points. Mullings on 9. Gale up to 8. Demonge 9. Hodges quiet first half. She's on 8. Annie Warren up to 7. Mullings, though, showing her all-round game. She's on 5 rebounds compared to Hodges on 3. When we look at the team stats, the 3-point percentages for both teams have dropped. Gladiators at 41. The Hatters up to 62%. Rebound battle, it's the Hatters leading the way on 19. They're also sharing the ball that little bit better, 10-6 on the assists. But it's Hatters on 14 turnovers, which is pretty high for them in the opening half. Coaches in deep discussion. Gladiators, though, 15 points from turnovers compared to the Hatters 7. But it's bench points 9 apiece, an entertaining game as we just said. And will we hear from coaches at halftime? Yes. And we'll join Rona courtside with assistant coach Max Hurst now.
So Sheffield raced out to an early lead, but you've pulled yourselves back into the game. What have been sort of the key messages?
Yeah, much better second quarter. I think just like sticking to what we do, playing some defense, being some physicality on both ends, going to be important.
And also looking ahead into the second half, what are sort of going to be the sort of key words in the locker room at halftime?
Yeah, I think continue to play some defense. I think we gave up 26 in the first, so let's continue that second quarter and keep it going.
Okay, well, best of luck for the second half of the game.
Perfect, thank you.
I'll just hand you back over to Grant, who'll wrap us up for the first half.
And then we're at half-time, 40-35, and we'll go into our half-time break. We are back for second half action here at Play Sport. A close opening half where the visiting Hatters lead by 5. And Mona, we've been doing a lot of talking, it's just saying how smart a player this person is, how smart this player is. Who stood out for you in that first half?
I think collectively, like, both teams have had some really nice team basketball, some really nice team defense. You know, they know what their identity is as a team, and they're looking to play that whilst disrupt the other team. And both have succeeded at different points in the game. Sheffield obviously leading by as many as 13. Gladiators bring it back to a 1-point ball game at some point. So I think this third quarter could be quite decisive for both teams.
And when we look at the quarter scores, the Gladiators ended that quarter 19-14, so they brought back that 10 lead that the Hatters had at the end of the first to obviously a 5. Good maths from me there. But when we look at the teams heading out into that second half, it did feel that Chantal Handy was much happier with her team's defensive output. We saw a couple of turnovers forced in terms of 24-second shot clock violations. I suppose that's something that Handy, you see her when her team do something good like that, she caught the benches up, she's clapping away, and that kind of been the identity from a Coach Handy's Gladiators team.
It has been, and you know, Gladiators took that second quarter 19-14, but Sheffield again with that dominant first quarter, and that's the reason, you know, they're sitting 2-0, taking down the Wolves and obviously the Riders, and they'll be going in to play next week Manchester back on their home court. Manchester, another team, you know, who can go out there and perform as well. Gladiators, they'll be back here against Cardiff, so interesting matchups for both teams in their next games, but I know for the next 20 minutes they're fully locked and loaded on the game right in front of them.
Demonge starts in the second half for the Gladiators. And reminder for you, Gladiators in blue, Hatters in the pink. Gladiators get the ball into Masovic early on, but Lewis helps across, knocks the ball out of bounds, and it'll be a Gladiators ball. Hodges had a quiet opening quarter but got herself going in the second. Clock ticking down. Demonge creates space from the free throw line. Doesn't convert. And Hatters now setting their tempo. Spins in. Masovic trying not to foul. Good play by Lewis. Demonte. Masovic for three, high arcing, got shot, doesn't go. But two good looks to start this half for the Gladiators. Yeah, Lewis knew the foul was coming. Good play by Demonge. Turnover for the Hatters, and it's a Gladiators ball, 1:05 into this second half.
And if you're the Gladiators on this possession, you're looking to get the ball through the basket. You know, you want to get the scoreboard ticking over, especially with Hatters having converted twice at their end.
Hand off to Fitzpatrick, back to Demonge. Doesn't go, and Gladiators getting the rebound. And it belongs to the Hatters, sideline ball.
Both teams maybe just looking like, you know, they've come out of the locker room. Both teams were back out in court quite early at half time, but maybe just looking to play themselves back into the game at the moment.
Which the game maybe needed, because that second quarter especially was getting quite edgy. Hodges on Gale, but it's in the hands of Lewis. Round the screen. Masovic comes to help. Clock ticking down, but Lewis open underneath the basket. Gladiators defense went to sleep there.
Such good work, and I mean, you could see the ball going through the hoop as the defensive 24 went off, and that's just where, like you say, Gladiators need to make sure that every person's doing their role on that floor and seeing the ball and the players.
Warren in space. Knocks down the three ball. Look at Lewis out the three, out on the quick pass into Antoinette Lewis. She hits the deck. Shauna Harrison in the corner. Doesn't go, and the Gladiators get the ball back. Warren downhill. Hands off to Hodges, but too quick.
Such a tight angle for that sort of pass as well.
He's got to be on the money. Masovic checks out. Still only the 2 points. And was both of them from the free throw line? I think they were. So Masovic on 2 and 2 fouls. It's the Hatters who lead by 6. Gale drives in, creates space, pulls up, doesn't get it to go, battle for the rebound. Foul on the floor called by referee McDonald.
Did you see Fitzpatrick had tied Gale up there, I think, and going to box out, has then brought in at the arm. And smart play by Gale, you know, continuing to attack even off your own shot.
Harrison round the Lewis screen. She gets this, drives hard into contact. Shauna Harrison does a really good job of drawing those fouls. Definitely gets a bang on the side there. And she'll go to the free throw line for 2.
Yes, Shauna Harrison, second in the league at the moment for drawing those fouls. 6.5 fouls a game she's drawn. And if she's going to convert them from the line, she's making it matter.
Just the Hatters keep that lead ticking over. Very similar stroke from the free throw line as Georgia Gale. Gandini standing up Demonge really well. Shot clock slow to start. Table forgetting to hit go on it.
I think Mr. Walker was actually pointing at the
He was trying to blame someone else, wasn't he?
The console.
Too busy watching the game. Ogaduga gets the ball knocked out by Lewis. Screen comes. Demonge looking to get going, creates something in traffic. Ball's thrown out, but it's turnover. Good defensive set. Unsportsmanlike foul called on Annie Warren. Shauna Harrison.
And Gladiators players maybe just a bit frustrated out there, and you can see that in the way they're fouling. And you know, it's only 3 fouls, but you just feel like, you know, they've...
Harrison just been at the free throw line, she knocks down another. So remember the 2 shots and then the ball. Hatters lead now by 9, and it stays at 9.
We talk about that mentality thing, you know, of a single-digit lead or a double-digit lead, you know, couple possession game.
Ball's put down by referee McDonald. He's fed up of waiting. Increases the urgency from Hatters, but look at Georgia Gale to the basket. Doesn't go. Battle for the rebounds. And it's stolen by Gandini. Ball's up for Mullings. And they get the second chance opportunity to go. Good hustle.
4 pink shirts there, making sure Gladiators didn't get any easy outlets. And they've gone and managed to get the ball back in the basket for themselves. Nice work.
A 9-3 start to this quarter for the Hatters. Ogaduga. Demonge from way down time. Doesn't go. No Gladiators in blue trying to get the rebound. It's open court now for Georgia Gale. Looking to continue this hot streak to start this third quarter. They get the switch inside, but it's not used by the Hatters. Mullings has Demonge on her. Definitely an advantage there to the American. And one.
And Sheffield, they could see that they had both mismatches there. And then it was actually Demonge who had to then switch on to Mullins. Lewis, really nice work identifying that and getting a nice entry pass in there.
And it very much feels like how the first quarter did for the Hatters. They're getting their offense going inside at the basket. Great leadership from Georgia Gale. instrumental in everything they do, but Megan Mullings showing her class. And she gets point number 14 in the game for her.
You can see on those inbounds, Sheffield really trying to control what guard they want the ball to be in with for bringing it up the floor for the Gladiators.
Hannah Robb getting under the basket. Georgia Gale runs by her, hits her in the arm, and she'll go to the 3-point line for 2. Good by Hannah Robb getting established inside. Good pass inside as well. Gladiators really need to get the scoreboard moving now. Hannah Robb doesn't miss many from the 3-throw line. She misses that one there though. Always enjoy this battle from these two. Hannah Robb up against Georgia Gale. Georgia Gale to step, but it's knocked out of bounds. Sorry, knocked loose, and it's a Gladiator ball.
Again, 3 pink shirts looking to close Hodges down there.
They really made it so tough. Gladiators off out in open court. Didn't take advantage of the fast break. DeMonge under the basket. Robb open from top. Doesn't get it to go, and it's another pink shirt with a rebound. But look at this, Harrison out. It's a real ploy that we see from the Hatters. Mullings getting inside, overcooks the pass. Both players hit the deck. Hopefully Mullings is okay. DeMonge taking the shot, knocked loose. I think Vanessa Ellis looking for someone to hit the foul there, but Mullings back on defense. Hopefully she's okay. She took a while to get going. Ogaduga loose. Oh, and that's a collision. Robb just won the ball before Crisper got there. And it looks like Mullings trying to catch her breath. 2 big collisions there. And that's Crisper's 3rd foul of the game. 3rd team foul for them as well. Gladiators on 4 for the quarter. 4:34 on the clock. The Hatters, though, stretching their lead 52-39. Screen comes. DeMonge changes hand. Gets the layup to go.
And Domenge finishes so nice around the basket. So many different ways she can finish as well. And that really makes her such a threat in there.
Fernandez, but the ball's almost dislodged, but it's back in the hand of Crisper to Fernandez. Harrison, but Gale's open for 3. Doesn't go. Who's getting the rebound? It's Mullings battles for the rebound. And our Gladiators eventually tidy up, but do they? Yes, they do. Fast break opportunity now for the Gladiators. DeMonge drives inside, spins. Looks for contact, doesn't get it. And Coach Ellis with the timeout. The Gladiators on a small scoring run there all through. DeMonge, French woman doing her stuff inside. And the Gladiators get that lead back under 10.
Yeah, and again, Hodges making sure she was looking to try and get herself in and establish on that fast break, and then just using her body smartly to create some space. But Domenge always stays so active on that pivot, so making sure, you know, she's got the foot planted, keeping the ball alive and then finding the space.
That's just real smart heads-up play. DeMonge obviously back for a 2nd year here. She's clearly enjoying life in Scotland, but she's shown her growth this season, I feel. She's a bit more of a leadership in the offense. I always felt last season she was hamstrung by, remember she had that concussion early on? We didn't really see the best of her. We saw the best of her obviously in the Cup?
Trophy final.
Trophy final, sorry. As the music just ramps up volume in here. But from then onwards, we saw her importance, and we're seeing that importance really early this season.
As in somebody who you've got in at that guard position, you need them to be able to take those leadership roles. You need them to be able to control the floor, and that's one of the key jobs they're having to do. Both teams coming back out of this timeout. Ella Doherty coming onto the floor for the Gladiators as well. Bit more height, length there as well. So
hopefully, and that with Maura Fitzpatrick, Ella Doherty, but checking out is Demonge and three changes. Bryn Masovich back on the floor as well. Tara Hodges.
And it shows you how quickly a game's of basketball change. You know, Sheffield had their biggest lead of the game at 14 points, and Gladiators again cutting it back to 9. So
zone in play for Fernandez, not able to gather the ball. Doherty, such a long defender, but Gale gets a step. Pass out Harrison. They're looking to see get Mullings inside. Gale looking for help. They finally find Mullings, and foul called on the floor. Chantel Handy not happy with the call. Call called on Annie Warren. That'll be her 4th foul.
And I wondered with Doherty hitting the floor if we're going to see that zone coming back out again, because you can see how she works really well, getting down, cutting off the sides. And Gladiators again had a really good defensive set there, but
yeah,
coming up with
they
foul.
got the clock down to just 5 seconds. But Warren judged to have fouled. And Mullings so comfortable from the free throw line. Knocks them both down. And that's the lead back to 11. Hatters do a good job to stave off that run from the Gladiators, but Demonge head down, bubbles around, but Masovich getting that rebound, battle for the boards. Doherty knocks it to Fitzpatrick. Demonge puts the shot up, and it's a battle for the rebound. 3-4 players going for it. That's what we love to see. Almost a steal under the basket, but the Hatters out.
When the Hatters look so dangerous out in that open court going downhill.
Gandini takes the shot, almost knowing it was going to miss. And one!
And I think you can hear the reaction from the crowd in here, feeling like it was maybe an offensive call there as opposed to the defensive that's come up against Demonge.
Foul called on Mathilde Demonge. Her 3rd. Advantage given to Mullings, the bigger player, establishing herself. And she knocks down the extra shot. She goes down the other end, doesn't get it to go, Demonge.
I just feel they've been so unfortunate at times, the Gladiators, with that ball just bobbling out, whereas for Sheffield it's just stringing everything.
You can tell the responsibility of Demonge trying to bring her team back into this game. She's on 13 points. Can she extend that from the free throw line? Doesn't get the second to go. .245 on our 3rd quarter clock. Fernandez open, doesn't take the shot. Doherty gets back on defense. Fernandez picks up the ball, finds Crisper. Gale cuts to the basket, what a pass! Pass and finish for Georgia Gale. What a dish from Crisper. 15-point lead now for the Hatters, 2:20 on the clock. They're looking to close this one out early. Masovich trying to establish herself inside, doesn't happen, but they eventually find her through Fitzpatrick. Doherty cuts, looks for an extra pass. Bit of a careless pass from Doherty, and the Hatters off and going again. Crisper backs into Masovich. Sheffield looking for a foul there. No call given. Doherty gathers the ball.
Again, Sheffield doing really well against that downhill wave of the Gladiators on that fast break there.
Demonge having to do so much. Gets hit, she goes to the basket again. And it's Demongi really holding the team up right now. And a destructive third quarter performance from the Hatters. They lead 19-9 this quarter alone. Demongi knocks down the first. And completes the two. And Coach Ellis giving a tech. Referee McNeil not happy with something. And Demongi will go to the line for a third free throw. After all that, the Gladiators back within 12. Hatters getting what they want on offense in this quarter. But it's a steal by Hannah Robb. Hodges off and running. She's got Fernandez behind her. But Hodges able to outrun her former teammate. But look how quickly the Hatters down the other end. Can they find Lewis? I think the referees are in discussion here. What's going to call? Called Fitzpatrick for holding, and she'll go to the free throw line for two.
And that's also the second Gladiators player into 3 fouls. We've also got Annie Warren on the bench with 4, and that could be quite critical getting down the stretch of Gladiators if they do manage to go in that run in the fourth like they did in the second and look to claw it back. Whereas Hatters other end, just crisper on the 3 at the moment for them would be the only one to have to keep an eye on.
Lewis doesn't make the second one, but it's a battle for the rebound. Gladiators a bit quicker out in the rebounds this time. Demongi all the way. And Demongi will take another trip to the free throw line. And that is, as we just said, Crisper on 3, but now Lewis on 3 for Sheffield. And it is Demongi trying to put the team on her back.
And over her 2 championship games so far, you know, is averaging 17 points, and that one pushes her on to 18. So we know she's a volume scorer, whether she's in the starting roster, whether she's coming off the bench. She's continuing to prove that today.
Such a key player for this Gladiators roster. Stubbs into the game. Stubbs holding the ball for a long time. Gets it back from Lewis. Offensive foul called on Crisper. That's her up to 4.
And we talk a lot about the mismatches on the inside, and that's something Sheffield have been good at exploiting without the bigs being called, because sometimes that can be a frustrating thing when you've got that smaller player against you. But in that situation, Rob's defence winning out against.
Different lineup here we're seeing for Hatters. We've got Gandini, Stubbs, Gale, Lewis and Harrison on the floor. Final 25 seconds of the quarter. It's the Hatters lead by 9. It's getting messy in there. Late clock, ball in the corner. Someone needs to look at the clock. Travel call. That's where the Gladiators need someone like Robin Lewis just to pull up and take the shot. Is that maybe not taking full notice of the clock remaining, but 10 seconds remaining of the third quarter.
I also think from this angle, it maybe wouldn't have been the right shot. It looked like she was maybe closed down too tight. And that's why she's trying to attack off the dribble on the defender closing out on her.
Gale in the floor, gets to the basket, overcooks it, but foul called. Foul called on Hannah Robb. She takes an elbow to the face. And that is Georgia Gale with a trip to the free throw line to end this third quarter. They may have just stuck a second back on the clock. But we'll wait to see what referee McDonald says. They put .2 on the clock. She knocks down the first. And she knocks down the second. Gladiators won't get a shot off in time, but it's the Hatters. Extend that lead up to 11. And it's the Hatters going in, a much happier team. The Gladiators had a mini run in the middle led by Mathilde Monge. She's up to tying that game high scoring with Mullings on 19. But it's Hatters just doing enough again to extend that lead runner.
It is, and Hatters seem to continually have answers for when Gladiators going on that run. You'd say they probably, both teams came out at half time a little bit unsure. It kind of ball went up and down. Hatters got a couple of scores, then Gladiators had the scoreboard ticking over. Again, I think coming out into this fourth, what are Gladiators going to bring to the floor? Because they're going to have to go out there and they're going to have to go for this game now.
So when you see both teams bring to the table that 11-point lead the Hatters had at the end of the first quarter, got taken down pretty quickly in the second. It'll be interesting to see which team rallies hardest. Will it be Mathilde Monge-led Gladiators, or will Megan Mullins continue to run the show alongside Georgia Gale? Georgia Gale putting quite an impressive stat line together alongside Megan Mullins.
Yeah, Megan Mullins obviously double-double watch. She's sitting currently 19 points, 9 rebounds and an assist. And like you say, Georgia Gale sitting with her 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. So, and back up in the Gladiators end as well. I think, you know, like you say, Dom Enge with her 19 points has been doing great work for the Gladiators in that third quarter, just making sure they keep putting points on the board.
And the Hatters again doing a really good job and frustrating Tierra Hodges, not getting the open looks or the good looks that we're used to seeing. Tierra Hodges in her 21 minutes, 4 from 9 from field. She's got 5 rebounds, a turnover and a steal, and only 1 foul. And it will be Sheffield that have the ball to start this final 10 minutes.
Now I'm always intrigued to see how does foul count play into it down the line. We've talked about, you've got 3 players for Gladiators on 3, Annie sitting on 4, and then Crisper obviously on 4 for Sheffield.
Gale with space to the basket, under pressure from Lewis.
And you just feel at the moment, if you're Sheffield, put the ball in Gale's hands, because she's either getting the bucket or she's getting the foul.
Absolutely, and she'll take another trip to the free throw line. Attempts 7 and 8 for the game. Misses that one.
And when you look at 3 of Hatters' wins, 2 in the championship and the game against Gladiators, each of those times they won, they put up 79. They're sitting at 63 at the moment. Do you think that's
The magic number.
the magic number? At least it's not 6-7.
We're not doing that.
I feel like 1 a game is purely acceptable.
The Monge ball in hand, look, calling for the screen. Clock ticking on the shot clock. Robb tries to find the corner. Deflection wide, but only 1.5 seconds left on the shot clock. A good defensive set by the Hatters. They get it in. Do they find Hodges? They don't. It gets up in the hands of Harrison, who finds her captain in Georgia Gale. A wasted possession from the Gladiators. Good defensive set though by the Hatters. And it's Hannah Robb called for the foul. Bumps Gale. And that's Hannah Robb up to 4 as well. Home crowd not too happy with the fouls against their team. And the ball's back with Georgia Gale. Round the screen from Lewis. Looks to create space. She's driven the ball so well inside. Look at the cut from Lewis, but doesn't get it to go, and the ball's out now with Robin Lewis. Rob, catch, shoot, high arcing three, doesn't go. Great defensive pressure from Shauna Harrison, forcing a higher shot. Gale gets that degree of separation, forces the switch. And that three ball doesn't go. Gladiators with a stop again. Hatters though, getting some good looks. Hatters lead by 12. Gladiators need to get the scoreboard moving. Hodges with space to the basket, up and goes. Easy two for Tierra Hodges. Lewis just giving her that little bit too much space.
And sometimes that's all that's needed. Nice, simple basketball.
Harrison cutting round. Ball's loose. Hannah Robb with it. 3-on-2 break coming, but Hannah Robb head down to the basket. Up and under, and she gets the two, and the scoreboard moving again. Quick score from the Gladiators, but look at that. Hatters out fast. Keeping the tempo. 8-point lead now. Bit of space for Gale to drive into. Ball's ripped, stolen. Demongji to Robb. And it's Demongji looking to set up the play. They find Fitzpatrick. Hodges round, and a foul comes. And this is maybe where we see Tierra Hodges at her best.
Yeah, just uses the body really well to get the space in there to receive the ball, and then drawing the foul and getting herself the line. But, you know, for Antoinette Lewis, pushing her onto her fourth. But then when you're subbing in someone like Megan Mullins, who's about to trip probably a double-double, it's not a terrible switch for her.
They're such a deep team this season, the Hatters. And Tierra Hodges to the line for two. Knocks them both down. With 7.5 on the clock, the lead is down to 7. I can't count, 6. Hatters get the switch inside. Mullings with Robin Lewis on her, but they turn it over. Good defensive pressure, but Mullings though, normally a safe pair of hands in this game.
You know, third turnover in a row there for the Hatters. They'll be wanting to take a little bit better care of the ball when they get back down at the end of the floor.
Gandini almost stealing the ball. Warren skips to the basket. Lane opens up in front, gathers a rebound, does she? The ball's loose, someone's got it. Players hitting the deck. Ball's tied up. And it belongs to the Gladiators. That's 10 players wanting to get the ball back. Gladiators ball on the baseline, 6:47 on the clock. Warren, space, opens up in front of her. She dances to the basket. What a finish.
Makes no mistake about that one there, Grant.
Hangs in the air, gets to the basket, and it's now a 4-point game. Gale open, she gets a little bit of space, checks back. We've already seen one long-range three made, but it's Gandini. Back to Georgia Gale. Screen's coming from Mullins, she turns it down. Double teams come, she skips through. Throws it up. Gandini gathers the board. Fernandez now. Second chance now for the Hatters. She drives to her right to the basket. Gets stuck. looking for a call, doesn't get it, and it's the Gladiators off and running. Robin Lewis all the way to the basket. And it's in the hands of the Hatters. Dandini skips past Warren to the basket. No, dishes off to Mullings. And what a finish, and that's how you stop a scoring rut from the Hatters. Great answer from them. And we've seen that throughout the game today. Anytime the Gladiators get on a run, all it takes is 1 or 2 possessions from the Hatters. Have the Gladiators got another charge in them? They're looking to get the ball to Hodges. She pulls up, doesn't get it to go. No one's crashing the boards. Andy asking Hodges to attack. And this just gives Georgia Gale a chance to get the offense going. Mullings drives there. She's attacked, but look at the cut from Fernandez, but overcooks it. Players physically having to step up. What an offload to Hodges. She dances to the basket. She hits and going. Both teams, well, Gladiators 3 timeouts. The Hatters with 2. That could be a big telling point as well. Who uses their timeouts and when? It's a 4-point game, 4:20 on the clock. Gale under pressure. Ball knocked out loose by Fitzpatrick. And it's Warren trying to get on Harrison. She bodies her. Ball's up. And she'll go to line for 2. And that's pretty good foul from Harrison, stopping an easy score for Warren.
You just felt though that Harrison was doing a good job of pushing Warren away from the basket there, and could she just have used her length to not allow, you know, the foul to go against Warren, or to go against herself against Warren there. That was a lot of against and roundabouts. I knew what I meant. Apologies for those at home who lost my train of thought there.
Harrison up to 3 fouls, and that is Hatter's second timeout. Oh, no, it's gone against Gladiators. Coach Handy calling her timeout. That changing the scoreboard. 61-65. The Gladiators going on a bit of a scoring streak there, but the Hatters with a number of answers.
They haven't had the lead up to as much as 14 in this half. Have they given themselves enough of a cushion? We've only seen Gladiators manage to bring it back to 1, but can Gladiators find a way to get over and find themselves in the lead, and then how are they going to use that to their advantage if they can?
The Gladiators haven't led in this match.
And you know, you talk about fouls and crowds and, you know, what people think is right, wrong, and different. You can see both coaches have been unhappy with calls that have gone against their teams, and, you know, fouls are sitting pretty equal at the moment. 19 for the Gladiators, 16 for the Hatters, but a lot to be managed in this last 4 minutes. But at the same time, your players are going to just have to go out and do their defensive and offensive responsibilities without fouling.
Team foul check for you. 2 team fouls apiece. 4:17 on the clock. It's Hatters' ball. Sorry, no, it's a free throw. Warren's got 2 free throws. Apologies. Grace Graham on the floor. Georgia Gale taking a breather. Knocks down the first. Knocks down the second. She's up to 14. And the Hatters get it inbound. Balls with Fernandez. Hand off to Harrison. She's got space. Drives in. Picks up the ball but loses it. Who gathers it? It stays with the Hatters. Get the switch. Mullings with Rob on her back. Drive inside, not loose. And it will stay with the Hatters. 4.9 on the shot clock.
And Hatters have had so much good offense off that sort of setting the pick but just diving straight away off it. Gladiators maybe finding better answers now at stopping that easy pass on that inside.
Fired inside to Mullings. She spins baseline. Doesn't get it to go. Gladiators with a chance to tie this game. Warren behind the back, goes all the way, does the smart thing, takes it out. but it's given space to shoot. Bobbles round. And foul comes from Hodges. A frustrating possession for the Gladiators. Don't think Warren needed to go for that.
You feel like you could maybe have played the clock a little bit more and seen if you could get another shot, but when you're a player out there, sometimes you're just feeling it, you know, had kept a hold of the ball. You never shoot a shot thinking you're going to miss, do you?
That's true. 3:30 on the game clock. The Hatters lead down to 2. Fernandez with the ball. Picks up, looking for help. Mullings cutting to the basket. Dislodged by Hodges. Chigo is our best to try and call for the ball. Nine seconds on the shot clock. Grace Graham on the floor. Only played just under 5 minutes. Around the screen to get the switch. Mullings holds on to it and the shot clock expires. Another turnover for the Hatters. They're up to 23 turnovers in this game. And another opportunity for the Gladiators to draw a level or take the lead.
And aren't these the sort of games that you live for? Two teams absolutely battling it out there.
It's going to come down to the buzzer. We thought it would in the talking in the pre-game. Warren pulls up, ties it up. 65 apiece. Momentum with the home side. Haneen McDonald blows his whistle. Foul called on Maura Fitzpatrick on the hold. And Shauna Harrison giving a flop involved. A fourth quarter comeback. Fourth. (23-7) the score this quarter in the favour of the Gladiators. The Hatters do advance the ball.
And this is what you love about basketball. It doesn't matter what's going on the previous 39 minutes. It comes down to the last 16 seconds.
Everything's going. The Hatters need a quick score to get it to Harrison. Back to Gale. Round the screen from Lewis. Good play from the Hatters. No call. The right call there. Lewis under the basket. Easy. Good play from the Hatters. It looks like a timeout on the floor. As Hannah Robb ran into a standing still Lewis. And we've got another timeout. No surprise there from the Gladiators. 74-71, 9.5 seconds remaining. A 23-point haul for the Gladiators this quarter, led from Annie Warren and Mathilde Demonge. The defensive effort, Tierra Hodges, 16 and 10. She's really come to the fore in this fourth quarter. Well, an all-round team effort in this fourth quarter, Rona.
It has been, and I talked about that mythical 79 that Hatters have hit on 3 of their winning occasions and currently been held to 71.
Big defensive effort in this final quarter, holding the Hatters to 9 points. Long 9.5 seconds, a long way to go in basketball. Up 3, Gladiators ball. Do the Hatters look for a quick foul?
They're going to, yeah, exactly that. They're going to look to foul when the ball gets inbounded. Ideally, they'll probably try and keep it out of Domenge's hands on that inbound. Seen her go to the line and be successful. But ultimately, they need to stop the clock. They need to put up some of their own points on the board.
Gladiators advance the ball to our near side. Demonge, Hodges, Robb, Warren and Fitzpatrick as Gandini, Gale, Lewis, Harrison and Mullings for the visitors. First job, get the ball in bounds. And it's a quick foul from Harrison on Demonge. It's Harrison's fourth. 1.8 seconds clicked off that clock there. Then Demonge, the Gladiators, will be looking for her to make this first one. Both teams with a timeout remaining.
Gets the shooter's roll there.
That's the home roll there from Demonge. She's had a tremendous game. And the second.
And she has been clinical at the line for them today when they've needed her to be.
And both teams using their timeouts. That's Hatters using their final one. It's still a 5-point lead for the Gladiators, 7.7 seconds. And is this Vanessa Ellis calling what she wants offensively? We're going to guess a quick score, quick fill.
Exactly that. You know, none of these players, coaches have, this is their first time being in this sort of situation. They'll have things, they've talked about this at practice. If X happens in a game, we'll go to Y. And they'll just be reinforcing that to their players down there, giving them a minute to have a breather. But props to Domenge, you know, ice in the veins there, stepping up, knocking both down, and making it that 2-possession game. And that is so critical in this sort of situation.
Just keeps the advantage with the Gladiators. Forces the hand of the Hatters. Quick score, Phil. If they don't score, get the rebound. Gladiators will be trying to get as much clock off the game as remaining. 7.7 seconds. A long time in basketball. We've had, what, 2 timeouts since 9.5. And a score from the free-throw line. Can the Hatters do job number one? They do. Same play as we just seen. Screen will come from Lewis. They switch. Gladiators switching everything. Step through from Georgia Gale. Battle for the rebound. It doesn't go. The Gladiators get the win. A second half comeback. A fourth quarter comeback. And you can see what it means to the home side. A Caledonia Gladiators win in the amphitheatre. 76-71. What a fourth quarter comeback from the home side. Tremendous game. The Gladiators just getting it across the line, trailing for the majority of the game. The Hollis Play Sport on their feet, clapping the winning team. What a performance. Led by Mathilde Demonge's 24 points, Hanny Warren's 22, Tiara Hodges 16 and 10. They shared round the assists. The turnovers in the end for the Hatters, 25. They're normally a bit cleaner with those, but what a win for the home side. We'll be joining Rona shortly, courtside. We'll look at some more of the stats for the visitors. Mullings, 21 and 10. Antoinette Lewis, 20 points in 24 minutes. Georgia Gale, 13, 6 and 4. And we're going to go join Rona, who's grabbed Mathilde Demonge. We'll hear from them right now.
Firstly, Mathilde, absolute ice in your vein with those free throws. Did you feel the pressure towards the end of the game, having to step up and shoot those free throws?
Yeah, I mean, I just love to play this kind of game. I'm used to, and this is the moment like this. That's what we play basketball. So, yeah, this is just focus and just enjoying this moment.
And also the team, you know, down by as many times as 14. How did you find the fight back as a group?
I think we worked hard all the week. We know what we wanted to do. And this is just like leadership between us, just talking, just communication, and we can find energy in that. So.
Well, I'll let you get back, because I think there's some fans in here who want to celebrate with you. So well done in a good game, no problem. And I'll just hand you back to Grant, who'll wrap us up for today after what a game of basketball that has been.
What a game for the home side. The Caledonia Gladiators get back in this game and take the lead. They win it 76-71. From all of us here at Play Sport, thank you for watching, and we'll hear us next time.